Welcome to the 4th of Short podcast, episode 5, week 8, Thursday night edition. As always, I'm your host, CJ, and we can welcome back Sir Justin back to the podcast. So you're finally back, house a new house and everything.
It's nice. I went through and cleaned everything, cleaned the carpets, make sure everything was smelling nice and good. Got my internet, the good internet. Got some snacks for the podcast, and then got everything set up, and now it's time for recording.
Well, the bedroom view changed, but your looks are still ugly. But anyways, let's move on to the Thursday night football talk, where Buffalo bounced back and survived Tampa Bay Buccaneers by beating them 24-18. And honestly, it was another solid Thursday night game. The last 2 or 3 Thursday night games have been really pretty good, actually, overall. But anyways, was definitely impressed by both QBs, Allen and Baker both. Uh, Baker Mayfield, 25 for 42, 237 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions, 3 sacks. He played pretty smart, to be honest with you. He's the pocket closed on him a lot, but he seemed very poised, made a lot of smart decisions. Took a sack instead of like trying to throw an interception like he usually does. Josh Allen on the other side was 31 for 40, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Had 7 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. So he seemed like he played like the old Josh Allen. Had a great game. Moved back into the MVP conversation, I'm sure. The Bills wide receivers seemed to be open all night, especially in the middle of the field. Shakir and Gabe Davis seemed to be open all night, especially Khalil Shakir. He's a rookie, right?
No, he's a second year.
Second year? Okay, well, he definitely had him a game. 6 receptions, 92 yards on 6 targets, so he caught all of them. Gabe Davis, which was my X factor for Buffalo on the offense, he was 9 for 87 with a touchdown, 12 targets. Stephon Diggs was very, very quiet that first half. It seemed like they played him very tight all game. He couldn't get free, so they were definitely focused on him that first half. But towards the second half, he finally got it going, and he was 9 receptions for 70 yards on 12 targets. So they finally got him going. Dalton Kincaid, shout out to him, finally getting his first career touchdown in his rookie season. So he finally gets it going. He had a good game, 5 for 65 with one touchdown and 20 points on my bench. Thanks for that.
We also got to talk about Josh Allen getting a rushing touchdown as well.
He did.
7 for 41.
Yeah, so I don't know. Allen looked good. Allen looked really good. Over to the Tampa Bay receiving side, Mike Evans, very quiet game. They locked him down. Every time he did get a chance, penalty happened, or the ball got knocked out of his hands. He got shut down. He only had 3 receptions, 39 yards. He had a touchdown. I'll give him that, which was a nice catch towards the end of the game to put him down 24-18.
He had 1 reception with 2 minutes left. He got his last 2 receptions within the last 2 minutes of the game.
Which seems
that touchdown saved him.
Which seems like that's how Evans has been playing all year, to be honest with you. But my X factor for Tampa Bay's offense was Rashad White, who definitely balled out like I figured he would. 7 receptions, 70 yards on 7 targets, which I figured he'd get a lot of targets in the passing game. And then 9 carries for 39 yards. Buffalo's got a tough defense. But overall, both offenses, I think, played relatively well. Both quarterbacks played pretty good, to be honest with you. Justin, how you feel about the game? How'd it go for you?
The game was fine. I really enjoyed the game. I thought it was closer than it should have been.
True.
If the Bills wouldn't have took the pedal off in the second quarter when they were up 14, they were kind of just they got past the 50-yard line, and normally on 4th down, you're 4th and short, you'll go for that, but they didn't. Twice they punted it. They pinned them back, but it gave the Bucs an opportunity to get back into the game.
On the flip side, though, I could say Buffalo could have gave the game away because Tampa Bay had a lot of penalties there for a minute. It seemed like every time you turn around, they get a big play, had to come back, or there was a false start or a holding play, and they still only lost by 4, 5, 6 points. You know what I mean? So
Their penalty differential was only 3. It was 11-9 in the favor of Bucks. Yeah.
It just seemed like ill-timed penalties, I guess, is what I'm looking for. Both teams
Oh
didn't
yeah, that
capitalize, but it seemed like every time Tampa Bay would get a big play or big passing play, it'd have to come back.
Evans with a 30-yard reception that got called back on a holding.
Point proven.
Josh Allen did go into the medical tent for a shoulder injury that he was out for 0 plays. He literally played the next play he started.
I got a notification. I'm like, uh-oh, here we go. It's going to get interesting. Real quick, James Cook had a solid game. It seemed like he could get it going at a moment's notice very quick. So overall, I think it was a good offensive game besides the penalties. Like I said, though, them Buffalo receivers seemed like they could get open at will. Shakir was, every time he turned around, he was open. Gabe Davis was open. So it seemed like maybe they focused too much on Diggs that game. And then finally, once they started pulling away from him to cover the other two, Diggs finally started going, getting his yards and all that.
So we got 2 players, one on each team, that just were there but not. We got Latavius Murray with 1 reception for 4 yards, and the Bucks' Keyshawn Vaughn, 1 reception for 1 yard.
But I mean, it seems like they're not really running this year, and that would help Baker a lot. I mean, it's not his fault because they just didn't get the running game going at all.
That's fair. I mean, but when Baker goes 25 for 42,
yeah, you don't want Baker doing that.
You don't want him throwing 40 times.
No, that's not his game. He's been very efficient this year. I will give him that. He's been very efficient. He only has 4 interceptions on the year, 10 touchdowns on the year. Very efficient. So he's definitely improved in his decision making, I think, and I think that showed a lot last night. Because if you look around a lot, he had the line collapsing on him all game, and he just made smart decisions. He didn't try to force nothing. He tried to force one or two passes, and they almost got intercepted. But overall, if he, instead of trying to force something, he would just take a sack or he would run. So I was impressed by Baker. Josh Allen looked like MVP caliber Josh Allen. Looked very good. Let's move on to the defenses real quick. I think both defenses overall played very well. Levante David had 14 tackles, his veteran self. Ryan Neal had 13. Devin White had 9. Antonio Wilfield, my Tampa Bay X Factor on their defense, had a big deflection that led to an interception for Tampa Bay. So he had 4 tackles. Didn't really do much outside of that, but made a couple big plays here and there. Shaquille Barrett seemed like he was at Allen all game. He was on him. Allen was able to move, but Barrett got in that backfield a lot. And then for Buffalo, Terrell Bernard, you kind of see him everywhere last night. Had 8 tackles, couple penalties. Jordan Poyer, very good safety, had 8 tackles. Teron Johnson had 1 sack. Not very many sacks. Ed Oliver, who I thought wasn't going to play. They have him listed as questionable, but he had a sack. Espinoza, I think that's AJ Espinoza. He was getting in that backfield a lot. But like I said, that offensive line kept collapsing on Baker, and it seemed like he was just able to get out of it a lot. How do you feel about the defenses, how they played?
I mean, neither team scored over 30 points. I mean, the Bucks had 12 points or 10 points until 2 minutes left of the game. The Bills' defense looked pretty stout. Both teams had 2 sacks. I mean, there was only 1 turnover, which was surprising. There was a couple deflected balls. The Bucks could have won the game if who was it? Was it Calvin Ridley? Somebody felt like Baker launched one into the end zone, and it fell in his hand. He just didn't identify the ball fast enough.
Probably what was it? Palmer. I know Palmer had like 3 drops that game.
I don't think it was Palmer.
Palmer had like 2 or 3 pretty big drops.
Oh, it was Godwin. It was Chris Godwin. It literally fell at it. Like, it pretty much smacked his hand in the end zone.
I will say that Baker had a good game. He probably could have a better game, but it seemed like everybody was dropping the ball. Palmer had probably like 2 drops. I think Cade Auden had 1 or 2 drops. Mike Evans had 1 or 2 drops. Godwin had 1 drop. Like it seemed like every time you turn around, somebody was dropping the ball for him. Like, so I give Baker props, but on that note, Buffalo impressed me, but at the same time, like the question mark's still out on them because even though they played well, they still almost lost that game. Like with all the drops and penalties, they still only won by 6 points. You know, against a team they should be better than.
Yeah, they got a ways to go. Both teams do.
And I don't think Tampa Bay is going to go very far. If they even make the playoffs, they're not going to go very far. But Buffalo, it's like, again, we're back to that question I was talking about this last episode. It's like, are they going to give that step? Like, because it seems like Josh Allen can't beat Mahomes. It seems like he can't beat Burrow. You know what I mean? And those two guys, you're going to have to go through the playoffs. And Mahomes playing on another level, playing as the best quarterback in the league. And it just seems like Buffalo, again, is supposed to be this top team. We're giving them all this credit, saying, hey, you know, they're supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber team. And it's like, again, lost to New England last week where Mac Jones looked like the best quarterback in the league. And no, you got to win those games, especially with how Miami's playing. And then Jets are 3-3 and still got a good defense. Like, don't sleep on the Jets. Jets are still right there in that division, and they got a very good defense. So it's like, Buffalo has to win those New England games, and they got it. Like, they played good. The offense played good. Defense, but it's like y'all still almost lost the game with Tampa Bay having a lot of drops, a lot of penalties, and I don't know.
You did it. You hit the nail on the head bringing up the Dolphins. I mean, if the Dolphins keep playing the way they do, yeah, they have 2 losses. If they play and if they win and they stay at the head of the AFC East, you're looking at the Bills being a wild card.
Yeah, and
that's not where they want to be.
No, and like I said, Josh Allen looked great last night. Josh Allen looked really good last night. But it's like, I think the play calling was good. I like the play calling. But Diggs has to get going a lot sooner. They're game planning on him. Like, you had Shakir and Davis open all game. It's like they got a lot of breaks at the same time as they played well, too. There's a lot. Like, I don't know how Shakir and Davis were so wide open. Like, they keyed Diggs
open.
But there was times where Shakir's just by himself. They were showing replays and stuff, and that whole middle of the field was just open for Allen to run through. You know what I mean? So if they put a spy in there, like say they do play like the 49ers or something, Fred Warner's there, or a really good linebacker, like somebody's going to be in that middle of the field. Like it's not going to be that open.
Oh, they got the Jets in 3 weeks.
That's going to be like, ugh.
And you got Sauce on Diggs.
Like,
I mean,
that's going to be a good. That's going to be a
good. And then they got the Eagles the next week. Right after that.
Yeah.
The next 2 games they got the Bengals and the Broncos. The Bengals should be a dub unless Joe Burrow decides to play like Joe Burrow.
Seems like Cincinnati's getting going though at the right time.
They are. Now Broncos, that should not even be a question. Jets could. I mean, they could split. Jets could win.
They should beat the Jets though. They should. With Zach Wilson at the helm, they should win that game. That's a winnable game. They should win that game. They should be the favorite, but
they can't make mistakes.
And then they got Philly, Kansas City, Dallas. Those games are going to be hard. And then
they have a hard schedule.
And then you got the Chargers. When the Chargers are on, they're hard to beat. Even though Herbert chokes every time he wants to turn around. He chokes harder than Josh Allen does in the playoffs. And then you got New England, who they just lost to, making Mac Jones looking like MVP. And then you got Miami at the end of the season, which that could be for the division. Or if they like start winning throughout the season, that could be for the number 1 seed, you know, between them and Kansas City and Miami and Baltimore. Like, what if they play Baltimore? Lamar's going to have a field day against that defense, the way he's playing this year.
I see something that's gonna really affect the Bills in December. So they play at the Chiefs the 10th. They play at the Bills December 17th. That's gonna be a really cold game. Buffalo, New York is really cold. I worked there, and then they go to LA the next week, warm, and then they go back to the cold against the Patriots. and then back to the warm with the Dolphins. That is going to affect them.
And I was
Going
just,
hot, cold, hot, cold. People are going to get sick. It's not going to be good, especially with Josh Allen. They're wanting 100% Josh Allen. With that, the way that schedule plays out, that's not good.
now I will say, if Josh Allen plays like he did last night, I'm more confident in Buffalo because Josh Allen looked good last night. He was making good reads. He was running. They had a good game plan for him. It looked like the Josh Allen we know Josh Allen could be, but it just seems at times he's just, I don't know. He throws a lot of interceptions, but he throws a lot, has a big arm, and that's what you're going to get with him. But I don't know. It's just, is it like it could be they got a defensive head coach and just any more. It's an offensive league. Everybody knows that. So it seems like the offensive coaches thrive at head coach nowadays. But I don't know. Overall, they got a hard schedule. I was talking about this last episode. They got their opponent's record 33-26. Tampa Bay, their opponent's records are 23-36. They got a way easier schedule than Buffalo.
Yeah, no, they get to play the Falcons. Great.
I think we could beat them.
You think? Yeah.
Which I talked.
Didn't you guys already win one?
Yeah, we just beat them more last weekend.
Okay, you're gonna split. I doubt you guys will win both.
I talked about Atlanta in the last episode, so go check that out and get the information.
Or you can go watch the episode and skim through the Atlanta stuff because it's not really important. Just go around that and watch everything else.
He's a Colts fan, so
swipe up. Like if you drag up, it'll let you go play by play, and you can just skip that.
But Tampa Bay's got Houston. Houston looks good. I like Houston. They got a lot of talent out there. Tennessee, I think Tennessee's in a rebuilding stage, to be honest with you. They're not going to beat the 49ers. I think they lose to the 49ers, even with Brock Purdy having his concussion.
Well, that's 3 weeks. He'll be out.
I think Colts can win that game. I think that's going to be a good game, a very good game. But the way Gardner's been playing, I can see Colts winning that. Atlanta, we usually split with
You skipped the Panthers.
No, Panthers are next.
No, Panthers are before the Falcons. It goes Colts, Panthers, and then Falcons.
Oh, did I write them wrong? Oh, I apologize. You're right. Oh, you're right. So they got Colts, and then they got Carolina. They should beat Carolina. I think Carolina's still a year or two away. I like Bryce Young. I'm still a big fan of Bryce Young, but he's got a learning curve. But they still got another year or two before they're even going to start getting in the winners bracket.
I think Panthers win this one.
No.
I think Panthers win the first one.
No.
I think Bucks, if they win 3 of their 4 games, let's say they beat the Titans, the Texans, and the Colts, they're going to come big-headed and they're going to lose to the Panthers.
That's a possibility, but they're not going to beat the 49ers. I don't even know.
That's what I said.
Go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, they're going to split with Carolina. I don't see them winning both.
I can see them getting the last game of the season against Carolina.
Well, yeah, if they bench everybody.
But then they got Green Bay. That depends on how Jordan Love's playing, and they got a lot of key injuries over there. And Jacksonville should win that one. Jacksonville's hot. They're going to the playoffs. They're worried about the playoffs. The Saints game, yeah, depends on what Derek Carr you get. It depends on if you get to throw down the field Derek Carr or the dump off to 80 times Kamara, Derek Carr.
Or you can pray that Jameis Winston is starting and Derek Carr is gone. He's injured, like traded, something. Just put him on the sideline, and then you get a person that's going to throw the ball to the defense and the offense, but they're going to be 70-yard receptions. You're going to have deep balls, which you want with Chris Olave and Michael Thomas. You don't want the dump-offs.
So, but they're not going to do that just because they paid Derek Carr. They're not going to do that. That would admit they made a huge mistake.
They did.
I still like Carr, but it's just I don't know if he's built for that offense that they're trying to run out there.
That's why Sean Payton did.
I don't think Tampa Bay is going to make the playoffs. I think one team's going to make it in that division, and I do truly believe it's Atlanta because I think we at least got the second best defense in that division. We might have the best. We have a very good defense. But the offense, like I said, I talked last episode, is mainly Ritter. Ritter could get us to the playoffs, I think, but I don't know if
to lose.
how far he can get.
To lose. He's gonna get you to the playoffs to lose. Hey, we've seen it time and time again.
All that I know is even if we lose in the playoffs, nobody predicted us do what we're doing. So I'm okay. Right now, it's a successful season, no matter what happens. So I'm cool with whatever happens. It's a success season. We have a lot of time.
They said the Colts were only going to be a 4-win season.
They're getting close to that.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's over. That's why they pretended Anthony Richardson had to take a season-ending surgery so we make sure we hit our cap for 4 wins.
Hey, good draft pick for the Colts. They need a tight end. Brock Bowers.
Now we don't draft from Georgia.
You might want. You might want because he'd be a good pickup. Be better than Mo Alley drops and what's the other guy's name? Grayson or something like that.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, if we're going to talk about people that are here and not, we can talk about Bijan Robin, your fantasy league.
Hey, he's gonna be back.
Hey, he might be sick again. They're not going to tell you until it's like third quarter.
But
of the game.
We're gonna talk about that on the next episode with the injury stuff, so we can get a little bit more in depth in them. But yeah, like I said, Buffalo got a tough schedule. Where they at? Where's the standings, real quick? Yeah, Miami.
The standings.
Miami's 5-2. Buffalo's 5-3. Jets are 3-3, and then New England's 2-5. That's a close division. It's gonna go down the wire most likely between Buffalo and Miami. So that last game of the season could be for the division and possibly the number 1 seed. And I know Buffalo don't want to go on the road against those teams. So I don't know, it's going to be good between those two teams, Miami and Buffalo. I think it's going to be very good down the road for those two teams. I mean
the Bucks will not. The Falcons will beat the Bucks in the division if the Falcons play the way they play. If they keep punching the ball, they keep running the ball behind Bijan and Algier, they'll be fine because they manage the clock with the running amount. They make it to where their defense can take breaks and they don't have to throw their defense out there a lot. They get a lot more offensive plays.
And like I said, Robinson and Algier remind me of that work done TJ Duggett combo we had back in the day. They're good build off of each other. They run well off of each other. It's a good running back tandem. Very good.
Yeah, especially when Bijan is sick and I have Tyler Algier starting and I get everything. It was great. It was fair.
But real quick, Buffalo beat Miami 48-20 when they played in Week 4. So Buffalo can win these games, but it's like, what Buffalo are you going to get? The Buffalo that played against New England where they couldn't stop anything, or the one against Miami where they dropped 48 and held Miami we're probably top 5 offense with 20 points.
They were at home though.
Yeah.
When they play the Dolphins next, it's in Miami. And that's the last game of the season. You do not want to go with the last game of the season with a heavy loss, especially to your division rival.
No. But yeah, that could come down to the division and conference. And then Tampa Bay, they're
mediocre.
They got a defense. They're average. Baker is better than he's been recently in the last couple of years, but he's mid. He's very middle of the field.
Send him back to the Browns.
No, that's dumb. They should have kept him because Watson ain't doing nothing but
getting paid. He got paid.
Factory.
But he got paid.
He did.
100% guaranteed. He don't have to play.
That's why he don't care. He's like, I got some money, and we got good cheesecake here in Ohio.
My hand hurts. I can't throw. He got me -1 point last week. I was sad. He made me lose.
I picked up PJ Walker in the fantasy league, so
it's gross.
But anyways, that was the episode. As always, please like, subscribe, comment, share, turn on the bell for the notifications so you know when we update or put any videos out. As always, we love y'all. Thank you for all the support you have shown on all the videos. And as always, later.